Today I'm going to take up Alfred Lord Tennyson's poem The Lady of Shallot, and the part that we are going to take up today is part 4, as I have covered up till the end of part 3 in my previous videos. So before I take up the original text of this poem, let me give you a quick review of the parts that we have covered up till now. See, the poem is about a lady whom the poet addresses as the Lady of Shallot. The lady is residing all alone in an island in a palace tower. And there is the city of Camelot just opposite to that palace tower, and the thing that connects the two places is the river. The lady is under the spell of some curse. She is not supposed to go outside the palace, neither she is allowed to look outside the window of her palace tower. So she is busy all the time in weaving a sort of web. And in order to pass her time, she gazes at a mirror. The mirror is hanging in her room, and its position is such that it reflects the city of Camelot as well as the river. So once while weaving, the lady happens to look at Sir Lancelot, who was passing through that way. The knight was singing some kind of song, and it was so beautiful to look at. The lady got enchanted, instantly enchanted by the beauty of the knight, and she forgot all about the curse, and she directly looked at him through her window. The moment she looks outside, the curse breaks upon her, and the mirror which was hanging in her room breaks sidelong, symbolizing the fall of the curse upon the head of the lady. So this was all about till part 3. Now we are going to proceed towards part 4. Here the lady, after looking at Sir Lancelot and being enchanted by his beauty, decides to leave the palace. So let's have the original text first. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning, the broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining over towered Camelot. Now the poet has very graphically described the change in the weather, or rather he's trying to create some kind of suspense, some kind of mystery by focusing upon the change in weather when the curse fell upon the lady. He says the east wind, harsh east wind started blowing, and it appeared as if storm was approaching. The yellow leaves of the trees which were there in the forest, the trees shed the yellow leaves, and even the waves of the river, they started striking against the shores, and there was a heavy downpour. So this sudden change in the weather somehow creates a certain kind of excitement among the readers, and they are eagerly anticipating of what is going to happen to the lady next. Down she came and found a boat beneath a willow left afloat, and round about the prow she rode, the Lady of Shallot. And in such a weather, the lady decides to leave the palace, and when she comes down, she finds an abandoned boat which was there beneath a willow tree, and it was floating on the surface of the river. As it was an abandoned boat, the lady looks at it and finds that there was no signature or no name on it. So she writes her own name, and she writes not her own name, rather she writes the Lady of Shallot on the front portion of the boat. And down the river's dim expanse, like some bold seer in a trance, seeing all his own mischance with a glassy countenance, did she look to Camelot. And the poet says, then the lady started rowing the boat downstream, and at when she was doing this thing, when she came in, you can say, down from the tower and boarded on the boat, there was a kind of uh, calmness, or rather you can say a gesture that symbolizes that she was not affected with whatsoever was happening around her. And the poet has compared her with a prophet. She was looking like a prophet who was foreseeing his own misfortune, yet remained unagitated. In the same manner, she also probably knew about her own misfortune, yet there was no agitation on her face. And at the and you can say in a stony manner, in a stony gaze, with a stony gaze, she looked towards Camelot. And at the closing of the day, she loosed the chain and down she lay. The broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shallot. And when it came to evening, when the day started closing, that means when the evening time came, she loosened the chain, and that means she, you can say, hung the anchor, and she laid down on the ship, on the boat. And the boat on its own, carried away by the blowing wind, took her far, far away. Lying robed in snowy white that loosely flew to left and right, the leaves upon her falling light, through the noises of the night, she floated down to Camelot. Now, in these lines, the poet depicts the appearance of the lady. She was wearing a white colored robe, which was very, very strikingly white. That's why the poet is called snowy white. She was wearing a white colored robe which was loosely fitted to her, and with the blowing of the wind, it was moving left and right. And the cloak or the robe that she was wearing, it was floating on the wind. And the time was of the night, and with the noises of the waves and the wind, you can say the noise of the wind, as well as the leaves which were falling from the trees, in such you can say, surrounded by such sounds, she floated towards the city of Camelot. And as the boat had wound along the willowy hills and fields among, they heard her singing her last song, the Lady of Shallot. And as the boat approached near the city of Camelot, those people who were working in their fields, or those who were residing on the hills, they heard the song of the lady. The lady was actually singing while lying in the boat. She was singing a song, probably her last song. And those people who were residing you can say in the surrounding area of the river, they heard the last song of the lady. So perhaps the poet here wants to create a certain kind of mystery that what is going to happen to the lady in the end. Because up till now, the change in the weather and the manner in which she was moving, the lady was moving, all this indicates that some misfortune is going to be faced by the lady. So that's all for today.